Hello guys, it is me, ARC Exotics, back with another video, and today basically this is kind of a, well, it wasn't a planned video that we were going to do. Basically last night I was just sat on Facebook and I was on the marketplace looking at reptile stuff like I often do, because you can find some great deals on there, and I found a basically brand new X-Display Exoterra, and I thought it would be absolutely perfect for our pac-man frog, who is growing at an alarming rate, doing really well. So we basically asked him for his price and he wanted a few bits of ours, so we managed to do some swaps and that, and yeah, now we've ended up with a brand new tank. So we've got some cocoa fibre and we're going to just basically do what we've got to do to that, and you know, get all the moisture out of it and dry it out, put that into the tank, and basically just going to be transferring our pac-man frog and all of his equipment, like his heat mat, his light, all of his his water bowl and his plants and everything, and transferring him into a nice big enclosure. Now this enclosure will be able to do him for basically most of his life. He's still quite small, but he's sort of too big for the tank he's in at the minute. And if you guys don't already know, that is at the bottom of the rack on the right hand side next to the Madagascar hissing cockroaches. They'll also be getting an update soon because we've done a few different things to their enclosure. But other than that, basically let's get into setting up our pac-man frog's new enclosure. Let's go. Do get into the video. Basically this is not going to be a bioactive setup. I normally do all my tanks in bioactive setups, especially when they get an upgrade, but simply because he's just got a sticky LED light on the roof of his enclosure, or the roof of the shelf above, so it's not actually one to support plant growth. So if we do put any plants in there, they will die. So that's a bit of a shame, but that is always open to the future of being able to do that. But yeah, this setup is not a bioactive one. This will just be a basic transfer with fresh new substrate and a few different plants for him. So yeah, let's go. So all we're doing here is basically just heating up the substrate in the sink and making it nice and humid before we then eventually add it into the enclosure. This is just done by adding hot water, mixing it around so it breaks up, squeezing it really hard, just like that, as you can see there, and there you have it. It is nice and humid and nice and moist, just the kind of environment that you'll need, especially for this species of frog. So we are now in the reptile room, and as you can see, this is the Exoterra I was just on about. X-Display, but in absolutely perfect condition and nice and big. He's also got a couple of new different plants in there and a 3D background, and he's going from this, which is actually a Pets at Home fish tank, which we've kind of converted into an enclosure, into this. And as you can see, just from going back here, the size difference is absolutely massive. He would actually fit his whole enclosure in this new one, and he's got a new water bowl for Christmas, and that will also be much better fitted into this one here. And his substrate, as you can see, it's a good sort of depth, but nothing like we can get in here, which will be able to go almost all the way up to the line. And like I said, it's not a bioactive setup in this one, it will just be a standard swapsies, but there's always room to do that in the future. As you can see, he's back there, probably waiting to be fed like always, being in his water bowl, but that doesn't matter because we're going to be cleaning that out. So other than that, let's get into swapping him over. So basically what we're going to do is just remove the mesh lid. Obviously this is great that it's an Exoterra because they are really good tanks, and even if it was a bit of a poorer condition, no way is a pac-man frog escaping from this. They're not the most arboreal species. And just filming him earlier, he's already come up to see what's going on. He's honestly the most inquisitive pac-man frog ever, I'm not even kidding. So nice little plant. He's obviously got two in there as well, which we can convert over. But we have given this tank a nice clean, so whatever was in here before, if anything, to be fair, it should be fine. And he's just looking at what's going on. Look, he's not happy at all. But, yeah, anyway, so basically all we're going to do is just chuck this into there. It's nice and moist, nice and warm still, and obviously, you know, we use this for a lot of our stuff that we keep. And basically, instead of trying to film it and make a mess, I'm just going to jump back to when it is all in. So in the space of just putting this in, which honestly took about 30 seconds, he's just done the biggest leap from there straight over into his water bowl. As you can see, he does really enjoy the water. Some pac-man species, or some pac-man in general, just you never really see him in the water much, but this guy, he's always in there, always chilling. Not for no reason because it's too hot or anything. His temp is just up here. His temp is all good, 23.8. But But yeah, he's just chilling really, he's just enjoying it. But now I do need to go in there without him trying to bite my hand off like always. And just add some plants in, if it will focus. There we go. So we're going to probably go for a water bowl here at the front, similar to where it is now, because he's always in there, so we'll always see him. Probably going to pop the heat mat back here, again similar place to the last one. We have it on the side just because we feel like that is where he sits most instead of burrows. He does burrow, but not as often as you'd think. And then we're just going to fill out the rest of the tank with some plants. So all we've done, nice and simple, is we've just put the new one just at the front. So when you see it there, we put this one at the back, wedged into the corner, sort of trailing down into the middle. There's one right in here, not that you'd be able to see it, if it'll even focus. And then we've got this one, which actually come with the fish tank. This is a fish tank plant there, and then hopefully that is where he'll sit, right at the back in the corner, go all the way into the middle, and then his water bowl will go there when he actually decides to get out of it, so I can clean the water. But yeah, basically the question is now, what do we do with this tank? Do we get a little strawberry pac-man frog and grow him out in here? Who knows? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Now I need to transfer him from this tank into the new one, but I don't really want to hold the camera and hold him with one hand because I don't really want to drop him because he always leaps and jumps, so I'm going to do it with two hands, and there's not really nowhere I can position the camera high enough where you'd be able to see him. So yeah, hopefully in the next clip he'll be in here somewhere. And as if by magic, he just leapt in. Nah, basically what I'd done, so I didn't have to put gloves on, I just transferred the water bowl with him in it, and then he jumped out. So yeah, all good there. Now I've just got to change his water. Then we've got to deal with the boring bits like transfer his heat, etc. And hopefully you'll see him here, well, you'll see him there with the light on and some fresh water. So there we go, after messing about with all of the electrics, which is a really annoying, stupid part, like over there, having to try and cut that in. As you can see, it's almost pitch black in that corner, but coming back here looking at it like this, it's not too bad. And instead of having the light stuck to there, we've now got it on the mesh, but it does keep turning a bit, but it's not too bad. It will do for now, but we will get him something a little bit brighter for the future, because looking back there, I guess it doesn't look too bad, but when you're here in person and you look back into the corners, they do look a little bit dark. But other than that, he is in, about to munch down on some locusts when we feed him in a sec. He looks quite happy. There he is. And his water bowl's in, all the plants are in, everything is in, and the light is on top. So guys, other than that, that is basically the Pac-Man frog full setup and swap over. He has been sorted and he's now nice into a corner right near the heat mat, warming up, and basically he's just had about 8 locusts, so he's just going to sit there, digest that, and hopefully he'll come out for a little hop around tonight. But if you want to see more from him, make sure you hit the like button, tell me you've enjoyed the video, and obviously subscribe if you haven't already. And other than that, we'll see you next week for another video and a lot more from the Pac-Man frog and loads of other upgrades to come. So if you want to see that, stay tuned and we'll see you again.